And so, what we learn from the destruction of the temple is that when you engage in prolonged and unrepentant, detestable behavior, you're not going to feel the power and presence of the Lord. And so the first don't is, don't be detestable. The second don't from this passage is, don't be anti-Semitic. Don't be anti-Semitic. Now for you kids, the word Semitic refers to the Hebrews. So to be anti-Semitic is to be against the Hebrews. To be anti-Semitic is to be against Jewish people. And what we learn in this passage is that you should not be anti-Semitic. Christians, listen very clearly. Christians have no biblical warrant to be anti-Semitic. And throughout the history of the church, there's been a lot of bad theology, and there have been various strains of anti-Semitism, and it usually goes through a particular logic like this. They see that God's judgment comes upon the Jews here in the temple, other places as well, and they therefore think that a special and continual curse of God rests upon the Jews, and therefore it's the job of the faithful to bring that curse to bear on the Jews. That's how you get anti-Semitism, through that very bad theology. But you have to understand that this passage completely removes that as a possibility for God's people. There is no special curse hanging over the Jewish people. There is no continual curse hanging over the Jewish people. This is the punishment for the Jewish people. Yes, there's a lot of sin in their history, documented in the Old Testament, idolatries and all the rest. Flirting with idols, worshiping false idols, not obeying the Lord, and not following the temple sacrifices to pay the penalty of sin in the Old Testament system. And they've been punished for those sins. That's what's happening here in Mark chapter 13. The curse for their Old Testament sins was punished when the temple was destroyed. There is no continual curse that comes to bear on the Jews. And so what do we do then? How do we Christians, of course we're primarily a Gentile congregation here, how do we Christians, Gentile Christians, view Jewish people today? Well, we scatter the seed of the gospel to the whole world, including Jews, and we look forward to a time in history where the Jews in significant numbers will accept the gospel, as we see Paul teach in Romans chapter 11, verses 25 through 27. And so we need to learn to not be anti-Semitic, and that is a thing that is coming back, especially with young male Christians. And so if that's you, if you've gotten into this idea that, these anti-Semitic ideas, I would love to talk to you. And we can talk about what repentance would look like for you.